Hi everyone. Okay, good afternoon. And we are back. Okay. I will just wait for my guest. I hope we're doing very well and I trust we had some rest this weekend. I'm excited to be here, right? And I believe that we're going to have a very swell time this evening. We have a very special guest and he has a special name. Funny story. Since yesterday, my husband and my children have been calling the name because his first name and his last name is the same. So it's Mr. Chinda Chinda. So yesterday they'll be looking at them and say, Mr. Chinda Chinda, Mr. Chinda Chinda. So they're all looking forward to the Instagram, like, hello Tolu, thank you so much for joining. It's great to have you here. I will try and add him now. We have a very special topic today. We're talking about vulnerability in men. And why am I limiting it to the men folks? So for a lot of women, we're very emotional, we're very expressive, except maybe something that's happened, but the normal or the natural woman would mostly mostly express themselves when something is bothering them, right? But for a lot of the men folks, some choose part of the aspects of their life that they want to be vulnerable. Okay, so they might be open with you. Enigma, thank you so much for joining again. Thank you so much, Tolu. I really appreciate you. So for the male folks, for some of them, so let me generalize, or like a large number of the men, they choose certain areas of their lives that they want to be vulnerable, right? So maybe they're vulnerable in when it comes to their emotions, but when it comes to finances, they choose not to be vulnerable, or they're vulnerable sexually, but when it comes to maybe their spiritual or some other aspects, so they compartmentalize different areas. Hi, okay, my guest is here now. I will try and add you now, and hopefully we would not get any error message. I believe you will have gotten the request by now. Hi, hello everyone. So I'm adding up my guest right now and we'll start quickly. Quickly. All right, did you get the request, Married Life Management? So our guest is Mr. Chinda Chinda. Hello. Good afternoon, sir. Can you hear me? I can't see you. Hi, Niger Kitchen. Hello, DB here. Thank you so much for joining. Okay, yeah, awesome, awesome. Good
Well,
afternoon.
good afternoon. Oh, so
All
sorry, I
right.
don't know what happened there, but
Nice. Okay.
it's
I
okay now.
uploaded my Instagram live. So my
Okay.
Instagram live. So I think maybe that's what happened. I don't know. Perhaps that's
Well,
what happened. So
okay.
it's
I
good to
didn't
have
even
you
get
here.
that prompt. Thank you. Thank you. Thank
All
you.
right. I was telling the story that you have your first name and your last name is the same. And since yesterday, my husband has been saying Mr. Chinda Chinda. He's calling me over and over again. I'm like, okay, what's going on here? So he's on this call right now too. So excited to have you. And
Thank you.
this is Mr. Chinda. Chinda is a married life transformation coach. He has a lot of depth, has a lot of insights. I've gone through his website, has a lot of materials that really help you, either you're single or you're married. And the goal really is to help couples to build a divorce-proof marriage. And I read some of the personal experiences on why he's on this journey. So it's actually it's very impactful when the personal experiences drive your purpose sometimes. So there's a reason, there's a push behind desire to actually get people to have a balanced relationship. But that's our topic this evening. We have exactly 1 hour because I know you said you have other engagements after
Yeah.
the next 1 hour. So quickly we'll drive to it. And the topic we have today is vulnerability in men. And I really want to hear from a man's perspective today. Okay, so sorry. So quickly, I had a question. I'm so sorry that I would like to
Okay.
ask. I forget what's up, but let me just quickly ask the question. Really, and I've gotten my notes here so that I can write as well. So, what's your understanding of vulnerability in marriage? Please give me a minute. Okay. All right. Thank you. So sorry.
Okay. Are
Okay.
you
So
comfortable now? Are you okay?
yeah, time.
Give me some
Thank you.
water. Some
Yeah.
water.
Thank you for touching
Okay. Right.
me. So
Wow.
I have
Okay.
2 minutes.
This.
I saw a picture of your wife and your lovely boys. How are they doing?
they, they're doing very well. They're doing very well. Thank you so much. Okay.
Okay.
So this is so profound. First, I want to say thank you so much, Tokwe, for this opportunity to really discuss vulnerability from men's perspective, right? And the reason why this is so profound is because many times women or wives try to define vulnerability for us. They try, and I've listened to a lot of women on YouTube on so many events, and they are talking about vulnerability from a man's perspective. Now, I want to say with all huge respect that all these women, they are doing a great job, right? But if you're not really a man like myself, you may not fully understand 100% where we are coming from when it comes to vulnerability. It's
Mhm.
like if you're not a brain surgeon, just because you are a nurse, just because you're working as a medical professional, you just want to go and start operating the brain, also opening the brain, it's going to be a huge, huge disaster. So I'm going to debunk a lot of things in this call today because this is so dear to my heart about vulnerability. Now you ask what's my understanding about vulnerability in marriage. Vulnerability in marriage is a place where you honestly, totally, completely, without any form of reservation, to share your insecurities,
Mm.
to share your fears, to share your worst parts of past experiences, to share all the troubles of your life, your character flaws, your weaknesses, your days of highs and lows, and those things that are ugly, those
Mm.
things that will make somebody easily judge you, that will make somebody easily condemn you, will make somebody
Mm.
easily say, I don't want to associate with this kind of thing. I don't even want you
Mm.
to tell me this thing. I don't want to know more about this stuff, right? So it's a place whereby you become vulnerable, you become easily
Exposed.
attacked. Yes.
Mm.
You become easily attacked, whether
Exposed.
attacked by body language, or you are
Mm.
attacked by verbal expression, or you are attacked by denying you of something because of the informations you have released, you have
Yeah.
opened up. So vulnerability is that part of you that only God knows, and you,
Wow.
God and you don't want to share it. So the only person that enter the circle of God, you, and whoever should find themselves the most lucky human being on the planet,
Mm.
because
Wow.
it's a deep place. That is where the men go to say, okay, this is where I am. This is where I
Mm.
am, God of heaven. You know me. You know who I am. This is who I am. This is who I am. And I'm just going to stay here with you. I don't want anybody to know what I'm going through. I don't want anybody to see it. I want to protect it. I want to keep it. This is my baby. I know this baby is a messed up baby. It's a shameful baby. It's an embarrassing baby. But I know you don't condemn me that much. But I'm here with you. But I feel safe. I feel better even though I'm messed up.
Mm.
That is what vulnerability in
Wow.
marriage is all about.
Wow. The way you've explained it now, I was just thinking in my head that, so a lot of women folks, naturally, we are very expressive. We would like to talk about things about ourselves. Once we trust someone, we'll be open with that person. Thank you so much, Mama, for joining me. Thank you, Tosin, too. So, but the way you've explained it, I'm thinking in my head that, okay, even
some women would find it very difficult to be 100% vulnerable, in that regard. So yeah, compared to the men, of course, we are more open. So the next question is that the way you've expressed it, is true vulnerability achievable in marriage? Is true vulnerability achievable in marriage? That's the next question that I asked for you. Because you said that it's a place where I can tell you my different secrets, I can tell you the things that I have done, not expecting judgment. Do you understand? Whatever it is, no matter how bad it is, do you understand? So, and then this general notion that some people are not able to handle some certain information. So as a result of that, you just judge your partner and say, okay, it's better I don't share the sparks, right? So the question is true vulnerability achievable in marriage?
That's very important, and that's a very profound question. True vulnerability is very important from a man's perspective. If the man feels safe with the information he's gonna drop in your life, if a man feels that if I share this, now look, anytime you see a man overly quiet, he's not vulnerable. When a man is, when you ask him, is everything okay? He said, it's all right. No, everything isn't okay. I'm telling you, everything isn't okay. And if the man is not able, and why is it that we are like this? Think about this, right? Men has what we call testosterone. Testosterone is equivalent to power. It's equivalent to dominion. It's equivalent to strength. It's equivalent to what I call ego territory, egocentric territory. It's where the man wants to preserve and sustain. Think, in the old days, men were more of protecting their families, protecting their homes. They go out to hunt for the animals. They want to hunt for all the things that the children will need, the wife will need. They are out there building the house. Men were very domineering, not on their family, but dominating their territory. They will stay awake. They want to fight any animal, any lion. They want to protect, kill any snake. They want to protect their own. Now, generally, men are seen as very strong people, very powerful people.
Yeah.
But something happened to men. The way God created man and woman, we are supposed to be vulnerable. From creation, we are supposed to be vulnerable. But when you become invulnerable, vulnerability in marriage is a learned act. You learn not to be vulnerable. You're not born not to be vulnerable. You are born to be vulnerable. That is why when you see children are expressive. They will say, oh, this, that, oh, I fell on the floor, oh, I do this. Because we are created from that place of pureness, from the place of purity, from the place of innocence and openness. That is the way we are designed. So vulnerability is part of our original design by God. But we begin to be invulnerable to whoever because of programming as we grow up. Especially men, programming. Remember, when a man cries, even a little boy, the mother will tell him, don't cry, you're not a woman. Because crying and weakness is associated to women and ladies. So if a man cries, if a boy cries, you are regarded as someone that is weak. So our parents help they have not, God bless all parents, but out of ignorance, out of lack of proper understanding in these dynamics of vulnerability, many parents teach their children, male child, not to be vulnerable. So could you imagine from the age of 5, from the age of 6, 7, and 8, and 10, and 11, and mama said, stop crying like Janet. Stop crying like Chinwe. Stop crying like Charlotte. You're not weak, be strong. And ideally, the boy wants to cry. So when a baby is born, one of the characteristics that shows a sign of life is to cry. So in inception of birth, we are designed biologically, physiologically to cry, and that is vulnerability. When you cry as a child, it shows that you need help, you need support, you can't do life by yourself, you can't do everything by your own. So, but as we start growing, mom, dad, Uncle B, Uncle A, Auntie C begin to program us that we are not girls, we are not ladies, and they tell us, shh, shh. When we fall on the ground, don't cry. When we fail our exam, don't cry. When that thing didn't work out, don't cry. So we start learning how not to cry, how not to be vulnerable, and we start putting this tough faith and power and strength. And now look at today, the women are coming back to us to tell us, you are not vulnerable. Why are you not vulnerable? I don't like men that are not vulnerable. I can't date men that are not vulnerable. Hey, ladies, can you wait before you judge me? Can you understand how I grew up? Can you know what will happen to me? Do you know how many times they asked me not to be vulnerable? So please, before you start judging me at the age of 40, at the age of 35, at the age of 25, please understand that I have already lived 25 years before I met you. Hello. I've already lived 40 years before I met you. Hello. And all my life has been programmed. I've been taught. I've been trying to be designed not to be vulnerable. So now I'm not vulnerable to you. Don't be upset with me. Don't be angry with me. Don't start beating me down. Give me some time. I'm going to be vulnerable. I'm just going to unlearn not to be vulnerable.
And that can take a lot of time. So one of the major things you said is upbringing and conditioning from when the male child was growing up. And that's a very big part of it. And the key thing you have said is that your grown-up years cannot just be unlearned like immediately. It takes a process. And that's why a lot of people are not, some people that recognize that immediately or on time are ready to take that step even before they get married. But a lot of people, a lot of men don't look at that aspect until probably they get married and maybe the person that they're in a relationship with starts to complain, right? And then they start thinking, okay, this is the way I am. I can't do this, you know. Don't I'm not an emotional person. Don't try to make me emotional. I have to counsel people and tell me, this is what you're telling me to do. I can't do it. That's not who I am. And I have to say, okay, I know it's out of nature for you, but sometimes you have to do things until you just do it anyway because it's important to your partner. So that's one of the causes that you mentioned. Are there other reasons why men will be vulnerable to when will not be vulnerable with their partner? Are there other reasons?
Absolutely, exactly. Fine. Now we've talked about upbringing, that's one. And then we've talked about programming, okay? Yeah. And the programming is part of the upbringing. And then also the other reason is their past experiences. The thing they have been through in their lives, in their past relationships, or in their past encounters, and whatever has dented them. And a lot of men as well, one of the reasons again they don't open up is because of their past traumas. Some men has got an unhealed emotional pain, unhealed emotional scar. A lot of men has gone through so much in their past. So now being expressive and opening up to somebody is very, very hard, right? Now, it's important to be expressive. It's important to open up to your wife, to whoever. But there are a lot of things that need to be unpacked. There's a lot of things that need to be dropped. Some baggages, okay? And look, another thing that I found out, because I talk to men a lot, and I talk to relationships as a coach and as a professional in this space. One of the recent things that a man told me. Now, the wife told me that the husband is not vulnerable. And she wasn't happy about that. Like, seriously. In fact, she almost thinking of divorcing this guy, right? She had even taken off her ring. She wanted to get out. That is what happened. And then when I had a section with the man, and I want to be practical here, right? You know what the man told me? The man said to me that, do you know why I can't be vulnerable to my wife? And while he was saying it, he was literally looking and thinking whether she's hearing or she's around. So he had to get out of the ground floor, take the laptop, and go to the upper floor of the house and shut the door in the little room. And I said, okay, talk to me. Yeah, why are you not vulnerable? Why are you not open? He said, I had an issue in my childhood, which I'm not proud about. And it really, really hurt me. So I opened up to her about this, you know, during this thing. Every time she's angry with me, she goes to the past and pick down and he said that thing is right inside my soul. She would just bring it and just dump it in my front and tear me into pieces. And I just say, whoa, she has done it a couple of times. And because she has used my past, that vulnerable part of me, you know, that I'm not really proud about. And she has used it to attack me several times. And I told myself, I will never, never tell this woman the way I feel ever again. Even if this marriage doesn't work, even if we are going to divorce, fine, she has already removed her ring, we are going to divorce, let her go with the child, it's fine. But I will not. In fact, he was talking and then he started crying. And I said, okay. I said, do you cry? He said, I have never cried in front of my wife. Never. In fact, he asked me that he cannot even believe he's crying. And I said, why are you crying in my presence? Why are you crying? We are far away in another country. And I'm here in the UK. Why are you crying? He said, because I'm crying because I feel safe here. I feel like if I cry with you, I'll be all right. That's why I just have to cry. But I cannot cry in front of my wife. Because if I do that, oh my goodness. In fact, that's another level of another problem I'm going to cause for myself. So you can see now, many people watching this, or many people that are going to watch this later, if you find out that your husband is going through something, there's some part of his life, when you ask him, are you all right? He said, yes, fine. He said, yes. If your husband keeps saying, many of the time, he's not vulnerable. Don't deceive yourself. Don't be thinking that, okay, just because he bought you a Range Rover, he took you to holiday, he gave you money for upkeep, he bought you your Gucci bag, and he said, I love you, and you think he's vulnerable. No, he's not vulnerable to you. He can do all these things, but he's still not vulnerable. Vulnerability is a big deal for men. It's a massive thing for men. And the reason why they won't be that vulnerable to you is because of some of these reasons. But you know what? Let that man be with his friend. Let that same man, that same husband that is not vulnerable to you, let him go and meet another of his friend. You know what he's going to do? He will literally cry in front of his friend. You know why? Because his friend is vulnerable to him. He's vulnerable to his friend. Both of them are all messed up. Both of them have their wahala, their trouble, their pain. And then they will say, my brother, is that what you're going through? You've not heard my own. Let me tell you my own wahala as well. And then they will share both of their wahala. They will cry. They will say, it's all right. We'll just manage it. God will be our savior. Okay? Keep managing, right? So they are happy to be vulnerable with their colleagues outside. But they're not going to be vulnerable with their wife inside. Why? Because of the way the vulnerability is used against them.
Against them. Wow. That's a very big one. And a lot of women, maybe some know it, some don't. They don't know the extent or the depth of the consequences of some of these actions. And next question I'm going to ask you, I'll actually tell you two stories, and then I want you to actually look at that. So it's things that people have told me recently. And really the question is that, are there communications no in your relationship? Are there certain aspects of your life or of someone's life that should not be shared with the partner. So let me tell you, and there are two examples that I will share with you. I asked the question about something about sexual fantasies, right? And then
Yep.
so a guy was conversing with me and was saying that that really that a lot of people struggle with these things and they don't even struggle. A lot of people have some sort of sexual fantasy that they would never ever. Some of them are okay, some of them are overboard. You understand? And then so it was really an example of someone that he knew that they were talking, let's just be open, let's be open about sexual fantasies. And then the guy said, okay, what would you like to do? And then he said that he opened up to say that he would like I think maybe a threesome or something like that, Sha.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, it immediately our countenance dropped, but that was not even that marked the end of their marriage, because that started to unravel a lot of faith in that marriage. Okay, you want threesome? Have you been doing it before? That means you have been doing it. Who did you do it with? You know, and then it was, of course, from there, arguments,
Yeah.
and the whole thing generated to that
Okay.
level. And then the guy was saying that if he had known, he would have just kept quiet or shut up about that aspect of himself. Another story of someone that told me, oh, my husband, we had a discussion. My husband told me this about his sexual fantasy, and then she can't get over that aspect of it. Do you understand? And she's thinking about that. No, I can't deal with this. You understand? I'm telling her that I never told you something like that before. No. So why is it that you are going to end your relationship now?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I said, where's the staying power? Do you understand? Did he make it? He has never told you this in the number of years he's been married, and he's been able to open up to you to say, okay, I kind of like doing this. Do you understand? I don't think that should immediately end your marriage. Do you understand? I've even tried to say, okay, what can we do about it? You've never even prayed about it, you know. So where's the resilience and all of that? So the question really is, and then even for the women folks as well, to the people that have maybe had abortions in the past, and maybe it doesn't even affect them, that's true. It doesn't affect, they have kids. Are they supposed to be that vulnerable to open up that aspect of themselves to their partner? Right? So the question is, to you is, are there communications no in a should there be communications no in a relationship or in an ideal relationship? Because this vulnerability, a lot of people desire it, but how many people can actually cope with it? How many people do they have the strength, the mental strength to be able to handle some of the information that they will be hearing? You know, so in that regard, if this person can't handle it, the question will be, why can't I just hold on to that information? You know, and let me add one more example. You know, a couple were believing God for children, and then the thought kept coming to the man that, of course, the woman had a problem. It was the one that had a problem, and the thoughts kept coming up to the man. Okay, maybe I should go and try outside. You know, maybe I should, you know, start putting pressure on this man, on this woman. Do you understand? So the thoughts kept recurring in his mind, and of course, he never voiced it out and all of that. He never, you know, eventually they had a child. Do you understand? So of course, when everything had settled, he was now able to say, you know, during this period, I just don't want to stress you. I had this temptation of actually going to have children outside. Do you understand? So that was a very vulnerable moment for him. It's a very touchy thing for both of them. But coming out to say that at that point in time wasn't going to help them. Wasn't going to help them. So should there be communications no in a marriage relationship? So yeah, that's the question.
Right.
From all the stories mentioned here.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. All the story that you have mentioned here, I'm a man, I'm a person of faith, okay? I'm a person of faith, and as a person of faith, morality is a big deal for me, right? So if you want to be vulnerable to your spouse, the question you need to ask yourself, whatever is your fantasy, whatever is your desire, whatever is your want, whatever is your need, you need to first of all ask yourself, what kind of value do you have? What kind of principles do you have? What kind of level of morality and standard do you have? Because just because I have a desire to have sex outside does not mean that it's right. Just this because I have a desire to have threesome doesn't mean that it's right. That means there's going to be a third party in the marriage. Obviously, there's a morality issue there. There's adultery there. Okay, there's unfaithfulness there. There's emotional infidelity there. There's a lot of issue around being in that kind of thought. And look, it's not every thought, it's not every fantasy that comes into your head, into your mind, that it is right. Okay, it's not everything that comes to you that you just want to express. It's not everything that comes to you that you want to talk about. So we as human, there is a part of us that always want to, one way or the other, to crave for lack of high standard of living, high moral standard, high good examples. Okay, now going outside to go and have a child could be a thought in the mind of someone that maybe there's an issue with sperm count, there's an issue with womb, there's an issue with there's so many medical stuff. There could be dynamics of so many reasons here. But the question you need to ask yourself is this: how do I take myself? What's the level of my moral standard do I need to keep here? Okay, you made a vow to this woman, you made a vow to this man, and because of the situation and circumstances of life, now I'm trying to do something against my vow, to do something against the principle of my vow. So you processing that thought alone and isolating that thought is clear to let you know that, listen, you can't even entertain this kind of thing. You can't even keep this kind of thing. So there's no point me begin to tell my man or my woman or whoever that this is what I'm thinking. Because from a moral standpoint, from a high standard of living standpoint, and also from a spiritual standpoint, it doesn't make sense to do that. You see, right? Okay, that's from a different perspective. Now let's come back to the perspective where should I be vulnerable to my spouse? Is there area in my life I should not expose? I've done abortion in the past. I have a child out of wedlock. Okay, I went out and I did one night stand. Okay, I went somewhere and before I realized it, my mouth is all over this lady's mouth. We are kissing, we are pressing and touching breast and buttocks and all that. And then I come back home and I say, hey baby, woo, love you, love you, love you, love you. Are you kidding me? Like seriously? No, right? You need to find a time because you have to be open. Marriage is about openness. It's about honesty. Because when we talk about vulnerability, before I just get a little bit deep, when we talk about vulnerability, vulnerability is intended to bring unusual closeness to both of you. Look at the word I used. I said unusual closeness. I didn't say closeness. Because you can be close to your boss, you can be close to your employer, you can be close to your colleague in the office, you can be close to your business partner, but there is an unusual closeness that you will never express or open up. So vulnerability breeds, promotes, fosters the unusual closeness. And unusual closeness births that place of absolute safeness. You are just enjoying one another. You are happy that no matter what, I am safe in this place of comfort, a place of vulnerability. So if you are not in that level of depth in your relationship, that place whereby you can open up fully and totally, regardless of your mistake. Remember, I told you at the beginning, it's about your insecurity. It's about your fear. It's about your need. It's about your flaws. It's about your shameful mistakes. You know, there are two types of mistake. A mistake that is just normal mistake, right? There is no really great shame associated to your character, your behavior, right? Let's say, for instance, okay, you are supposed to do an exam and you didn't study very well, and then you failed that exam. Okay, fine, you're gonna write another one. All right, okay, you went for an interview, but the way you answered this question was not exactly the way you're supposed to answer, and you didn't get the job. You learn from that and then you move on. Okay, that's different. But whereby, hey, you have committed adultery, that is big. That is a serious one. Okay, you have gone into something. The money that you saved that was supposed to be for the children's school fees next month, You just use it to go and play one addicted something, or you have given it to one girl in the hotel that say hi to you and showed you some boobs, and you say, boobs, I love you, boobs, and you withdraw the money and give to the boobs, and if the boobs took the whole money, no, that's a big problem. That's a big issue here. So that is an embarrassing shame. That is really, really going to get into the core of your marriage and relationship. So there is no aspect of you, because for you to come to that place where you open up and you share everything, that means your level of depth of friendship, your level of depth of openness, your level of depth of connection between both of you is not a place of criticism, a place of judgment, a place of condemnation, a place of shame, a place of ridicule, a place of embarrassment. If you cannot come in your relationship, in your marriage, to be in that place whereby no shame, no judgment, no whatever. See, judgment and amicable correction is different. Correcting your spouse is different from judging them, okay? Trying to make them understand that there's another way to do something is different from destructive criticism. So when you are in that place whereby you are vulnerable to each other and you are safe and you can share, share anything, that is possible. But guess what? There's a clause. And what's the clause? What's the caveat? You must trust the person you are sharing that with. You must totally trust the person you're sharing that with. Otherwise, you cannot build this level of depth. And in that place of depth, that place of vulnerability, unusual closeness, there is creativity there, there is innovation, there is massive, massive depth of emotional connection, spiritual connection, intellectual connection, experiential connection, sexual chemistry, sexual connection. You see, I see a lot of issues in marriage and relationship that comes to me all the time. And by the time I begin to design this couple, I can find very clearly that the depth of vulnerability is lacking. The depth of vulnerability is not there. That's why we are seeing all these issues. Wow. So you can't be open.
You said a lot. And one of the key things that I want to pick out is the trust, which is lacking in a lot of relationships. Not that I don't show. So people compartmentalize, or a lot of men will compartmentalize different areas of their life. I will trust you in this aspect. I'm able to trust you with my finances. I'm able to trust you spiritually. I'm able to trust you sexually, but maybe I'm not able to trust you in this aspect. So, and that's because maybe they feel that you don't have the mental capacity and the maturity to be able to handle vulnerability in that aspect. But and that's not the desire. We should be open on all fronts when it comes to marriage, and when it comes to a married relationship. The Bible says that one which is thousand and two which is tens of thousands, And one of the things that I've heard from someone, a man, one of the things that has helped him to overcome temptations is actually the openness that he has with his wife. So anytime he sees a lady, or anytime he feels, anytime he feels tempted by someone, or he has to have some certain feelings for someone, immediately he's able to tell his wife. I think the spouse is able to handle that part of that information very well. You see, sis, I'm attracted to that girl. Do you understand? I feel somehow when I relate with her. So, and there's something that they say that the strength of sin is secrecy. Do you understand? The strength of whatever it is you're struggling with, for some people, for a lot of people, is secrecy. So immediately he is able to open up to her in that aspect. She's holding him accountable. Do you understand? So that kind of guides his decision, apart from the fact that, okay, he has gone deeply and is able to make some. So that kind of helps him guides his decision making, and he knows that, okay, my wife already knows about it, so really, let me deal with it. So it's a big thing that a lot of people will need to deal with. Trust is a big thing. Okay, so sorry, one of the questions I have here is signs that your man isn't vulnerable. You've said that if they keep quiet, but what are the signs?
Right. If your man If your
You
man
said
is
that,
keeping,
okay, if he's overly quiet, but how can I know that this man is not vulnerable with me?
right,
Maybe I think in my mind that I have a good relationship with my husband, but what will make me know that this man is not completely vulnerable with me, aside from the fact that he doesn't want to talk about some certain things? What can give me the sign? And then the next question, because I'm going to allow you to answer this, is that once I know the sign, as a wife, is there anything I can do? Because one of the big things you've said is that upbringing, it's a he's already grown up. Do you understand? It's not as if I can go and train him again, or
of
but do
course,
you
yeah,
understand? So as a wife
yeah.
that wants full openness with my husband, is there anything I can do? What are the things I can do step by step that I can do to get this man to be vulnerable with me?
Okay.
Do you understand? And then how long do I need to wait? There are some people wait their whole life. Some people just get used to it and say that aspect of your life. Let me just deal with what I have and I'm okay with it. That's just for the piece of this relationship. How long do you think it takes generally? Of course, it differs by individual, really. But how long do you think it will take on the average, depending on the kind of trauma or the kind of upbringing, right? But number one is, what are the signs that my man isn't vulnerable with me in some aspect? That's one. Two, is there anything I can do as a woman to get him to be vulnerable with me?
See, there's something that every man has, and it's associated with the testosterone. It's ego, right? It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter what kind of man it is, what color of skin, what background, or whatever. Every man has got this ego. Now, that ego is not the type of ego that has to do with pride. No, it's an ego that just gives him, is synonymous to strength. It's synonymous to power. It's synonymous to ability to lead. It's synonymous to ability to solve problems. It's synonymous to ability to make sure that everything is working according to plan, right? So that is an aspect to a man that a lot of men protect, because that is who they are. That is the way they are wired. Now, when a man is not showing you vulnerability, one of the things I've said is quiet. He's overly quiet. And every time I ask him, okay, right, okay, yeah, yeah. If he's doing that, then there are many things he's not saying to you. And if a man is not allowing you to touch his phone, obviously that's very clear. It's not vulnerable to you. If a man is doing something on the computer and then you come and then he slam the computer and close it, obviously it's not.
So this issue of touching phone. So the thing is that it's not related to what he's doing that he doesn't want you to see. And maybe that's really vulnerability. So some means that maybe you have something to hide, or maybe you know that you're doing something that so let me give you a typical example. Someone was complaining to me that, oh my god, this man drives really crazy. The man does not passport his phone, whatever it is, but he struggles with zip on now or something, or semi-pon. And then he doesn't care. He would look at it in front of his wife. That's a big issue for them. Do you understand? So,
Okay.
and and then she keeps complaining about this. And I'm like, okay, so do you want him to be hiding this? Or do you want him to be passwording your? So, you understand? You know that he struggles with this. It's not something that and you met him that way most likely. Do you understand? So it's a gradual thing. So badgering him and keep complaining about that. So I'm thinking, this hiding of phone, is it due to lack of vulnerability or due to something that you are doing?
Right. Okay. If vulnerability is that you're not honest, you're not open. That's it. I don't care whatever it is. Whatever activities that you are not open and honest with your wife, then you're not vulnerable. Vulnerability is that they should know everything about you. They should be able to say whether black or white, this is my husband. And if they can't do that, if they can't say that, no matter how minute, how big, small, no matter what size it is, then you're not vulnerable 100%. And look, there's something about this. When you start being unvulnerable from little, it grows to bigger things. You're going to spend huge amount of money secretly and nobody knows about it. And then they come back 6 months later and you say, oh, well, oh yeah, no, sorry, talk. You're not deaf and dumb now. So that's what I'm saying. So vulnerability, when that is happening, If they are doing a lot of things, they are not telling you. A lot of decisions they are taking, they are not telling you. They are not sharing with you. They're not being vulnerable with you. A lot of huge purchases, they are not telling you. They're not being vulnerable with you, right? And another
Mm.
one that I see a lot of time is this: the wife will find out vital informations about her, vital informations about the family, vital information about the children from outsiders. Outsiders are the people telling the wife, and that is maybe through gossiping or through one thing or the other. And somebody say, hey, I heard somebody talk about your husband. He was saying that you people want to build house at Lagos Island. Really? And she's like, your husband say he bought a land, this contract from this politician. He's been working with him. Really? And then the woman is dazed and she's shocked. I'm like, are you kidding me? And then he go back home and say, hey, James, what's happening? Janet just told me that you are, yes. Okay, what is it all about? Don't worry, it's okay, it's fine. What do you mean it's fine? And then another problem. So any information that's supposed to be shared with you, because the key thing is this: if there's vulnerability and honesty and openness in that marriage, you should not be hearing information that pertain to your marriage, that pertain to your children, that pertain to your life, that pertain to your bank account from your mother, from your father, from your uncle, from your this one, from the outside. When you're supposed to be sharing that together, then that man is not vulnerable. And also, another key one again I understood is this: if your man says, I like sharing everything with my best friend, and then who is that best friend? Not you. Oh my goodness me. I just like the way the secretary, I like the way the guy, Kule, that is the gate man. I just like the way we share things. I really tell them a lot. This is my business. Are you serious? Now look at what's happening there. Vulnerability breeds unusual closeness. Your husband is unusually close with more people outside your marriage than you. Are you getting what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That is another way that the wife will know that the husband is not fully vulnerable to her. Because if the husband is unusually close and divulge, release, open up to somebody more outside, and then she comes to find out later she that is in the marriage, then that man is not very vulnerable. So you can see that there are so many aspects and criteria and dynamics of how you can just find out and say, hold on a minute, my husband is invulnerable enough with me. And another thing again is this: when you are saying something that is so important, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, something very, very important, but he doesn't care. He's not interested to talk about it. He doesn't even want to listen. Anytime you brought, sorry, I don't want to talk about it. Sorry. No. Because you know what you're trying to do? By he responding to you, you are going to touch an aspect of him that he has been protecting in the cave. He has been protecting in his life. So any conversation, any discussion, any time of expressiveness between both of you that will touch an area that has been hiding from you, he will not get involved in that conversation, no matter what you do. Sometimes you might even give him the best food, you might give him the best sex, and he's still holding on. Just know that there is something. This guy is not open up with me.
You said a lot, and I think that a lot of women should put this into consideration. If you're not here, one of the big things that he mentioned was that lack of vulnerability a lot of time has to do with conditioning and upbringing or programming as you were growing up, as the man was growing up. So sometimes it might not be what you have done or what you haven't done as a woman. It might just be what he's been used to all of his life, based on his past experiences, based on the traumas that he has experienced, even not with you. Sometimes they've not healed fully, or they've carried over some of those faults and betrayal, and they've built a wall around themselves to protect themselves from further hurt in that area. So maybe 1, 2, 3 people have hurt them, or they've been vulnerable with those people, and then this is the feedback they are getting. So that will deter them from actually opening up with you. So sometimes it might not have anything to do with you, but the sign that you're not vulnerable, I will just repeat that for a recap for those that people that I just said. One, if he's overly quiet. He said number two is that if there's some certain boundaries that he has set in the relation, certain discussion, no-go areas of discussions. If he makes decisions, major decisions or minor decisions without you even knowing about it, if he makes some certain purchases without you knowing about it, if he's unusually close with outsiders than his partner, that you begin to hear certain things about your home and your relationship and your children from outsiders. And the last thing you said was that he's not willing to listen or even have a conversation about certain things that he doesn't want to listen, like it's a no-go area for you. So just I want you to in the next 10 minutes, so that we can wrap up. I know you say you have another engagement. Is number you need to dwell more on what I need to do as a wife, to make you started on it. You want to say something about ego. So I want you to expand a bit more on that. And then I will ask the final question. What can I do to make my man more vulnerable with me in our relationship? What can I do? What can I do to foster that environment of vulnerability in my marriage?
Okay. That's very, very, very deep question, right? That's very, very deep question. I think I want to speak to the ladies, right? I want to speak to the girl ladies. Please, let's take this thing I'm about to say very seriously, because I listen to a lot of men, and I'm a man myself. I've got a wife at home, right? So I'm talking for the men right now. If you want men to be vulnerable, especially men that are not vulnerable, you have to be vulnerable yourself first. You have to be vulnerable yourself first. You have to lead. You have to say, well, this is who I am. You have to open up. You have to express yourself. Now, you see, women are expressive, but hold on a minute. Men too are expressive, especially when they trust you, when they open up, when they really know that what they are sharing with you will not be used for whatever outside or something, right? So this idea that women are expressive, women are emotional, women talk. Listen, guys also express themselves, all right? When God designed us right from the womb, God did not say only women will be expressive. Yes, women can do that more. Okay, more, that's great, but it does not mean that men does not express themselves. It does not mean that men does not open up themselves. I express myself like 24/7 in my house. I speak, I open up, I share, I cry. Even today, I cry today. I mean, we had church service and the minister preaching and everything, and it was so deep, so powerful. After praying with the family, I went to the prayer room upstairs. I laid on the floor, I prostrate before God, and I wept tears, right? So what? Because I know God is not gonna kill me, he's not gonna shoot me, he's not gonna finish me. He's gonna say, yeah, my boy, yeah, I can understand how you're feeling, I can understand what you're going through. Good, I'm gonna help you, right? I'm here for you, I'm gonna make this, we're gonna work this out, okay? That is what man wants. So men express themselves, okay? So the first thing is that you need to be open. You need to be open to us. You need to be honest with us, right? And then the number two thing is this. Please. I see many women do this. A lot of women do this. Not nice. Stop. And I mean capital stop. STOP. Stop pressurizing us. Stop pressurizing us. There's something about man. Man wants, give us time. Now you might say, well, but I give you weekend. I gave you the other time. Remember, you want him to open up, right? You want him to be vulnerable. And now you are deciding your timeline. Are you kidding me? You are not telling man to, if he doesn't do it now, he don't love me. If you love me, you're going to say it right now. If you love me, you're going to open. And then you give him a timetable. Remember, man had an ego, right? Man have an ego. And now you are directly attacking his ego. You are attacking that in him. And the more you attack it, you know what happened? He will run. He will run away from you. No matter how you do, he will run. You know where he's going to run to? He will go to the cave. He will go and hide in the safe place, in the cave, where only him and God exist. Nobody else exists there, right? So don't unusually pressurize the man. When you are, yes, there's a way around this. Give him some time. And the way you approach it, the way you talk to him, that's leading me number 3. Please, you must reinforce and re-emphasize your non-judgmental mentality and attitude. If a man is vulnerable to you, your husband, you want him to be vulnerable, please don't be bashing him and judging him and be using the little vulnerability you have and be rubbing it on his face and making him feel like a little child and be talking to him like one of those, houseboys or somebody on the street. One thing women need to understand, no matter who you marry, every man has got his own ego. I'm telling you now, that is the truth. It's not going to go away. It's not a pride thing. All right? When God created man in the Garden of Eden, God gave man that power, strength thing. God said, you name the animal. Wow, what a huge responsibility. I will name the animal. God said, look after the garden, look after the tree. Yes, I'm going to do that. Okay. So just man's ego is equivalent to his place of power, his place of authority, not a place to abuse power, not a place to suppress, not a place of autocracy, not a place of suppressing, not a place of misogynist to women. No, that's not what I'm saying. A man that understands the power of his ego is to use it for flourishing, for movement, for leadership, for guiding, for directing, and for making sure that everything works. But when a woman begins to attack that by her words, by what she says, by what she does, and by the way she acts towards the man, do you know what you're doing? He's going to, if a man is already retreating and you are constantly attacking him, you are constantly correcting him harshly, you're constantly bashing him, and then the little thing he has told you, he's hearing it from his friends, from your neighbor. Your mother will call him, hey, Kunle, your wife Janet told me that this is what this is. Are you kidding me? And then the father, uncle, auntie, Facebook, Instagram, social media. Are you kidding me? Like, seriously? And you want your man to be vulnerable? Sorry, he will not be vulnerable. This is it's a hard truth. I'm telling you truth now. That might be harsh. You may not like what I'm saying, but I'm telling you, the man will retreat to the cave. He's going to run away. He might be present with you, go on holiday, yeah, give you money, buy you Range Rover, eat food with you, have 1 or 2 sex with you, and you are there saying on social media, best marriage, best relationship, love my man, love my man, happy, love my man, and you are posing with pictures and everything. Listen to me. There are many things you don't understand. He is not talking. He's not saying anything. And many times when a man is constantly bashed, when a man is so many attacked from the place of vulnerability, do you know what happened? You kill he become insecure. You finish that. You kill his self-esteem. You kill his confidence. He will just be like a puppet. He will just stay there like a puppet. And he's just looking at you like a zombie, like he doesn't even know where to go or what to do. That is a dangerous place for your husband to be. Be open, honest, and do whatever you can not to make your man feel like this. Look at my hand. Don't make your man feel like this. The moment your man feels tiny and little, feels so small, I want you to know that his self-esteem is gone. His security is gone. His confidence is gone. And a man without confidence, a man without courage, a man without security, a man without the ability to say that I have the power to lead, to do things, that man will never open up to you.
Wow, that's awesome, man. It's a lot of responsibility, but it's what is necessary. So when you're talking about the man that will just be there, so I'm just thinking about a man that is physically present but emotionally absent. Do you understand? The short matter is that no matter how you want to pretend, you will feel the impact and you will feel the consequence as well. So he might be providing, but he's far away from you. He's just there, but he's not there. You understand? He's not open to you. He's not so he's just fulfilling all righteousness, as the case may be, but he's not there with you. But the danger even in that, apart from is that you might even lose that kind of person. You can even lose them. Once it's only a matter of time. Once he is able to find someone that can be honestly open with, then it's just a matter of time. He will just be open with that person, and then whatever you give attention to will grow. He will just
Absolutely. Hey, my wife, my beauty have just joined. Simply chill, loving that woman. That's my beauty. You see that woman? I am 110% vulnerable with her all the time because I know that I am safe. That woman you see there, my wife is the best, safest place on earth for me. So whatever happens to me, whatever I'm going through, I cry on her laps, I cry on her breast, I put my head on her breast and I cry on the breast and she comforts me. She says everything is fine. That is a woman that understands no matter what. You can come under her laps, you can sit on her like a little baby and say, you know what, I am safe. That's my wife for you.
You love it, but now you're not a very good one at this public, I'm sort of, where are you? Please give me the yeah. That's really so sweet, this is wonderful. Thank you so much, Mark. It takes a lot to actually be able to do that. One of the final thing I want to wrap up on is you said something about I think is the judgment part. So the difference between you said something about earlier. I said correction is different from judgment. So I want to touch on that a bit, okay, so that they would understand that you're not saying I can't point out certain things in our relationship that I don't like. Okay. Sorry. So what is correction really? How can I correct, right? And then finally.
Okay. Because I need to be going to the next program to go and speak.
Okay. Finally, to wrap up is that what does a true vulnerable relationship feel like? You have experienced it.
Hey.
Like, so just give us that 5 minutes and wrap up and then we'll end.
Okay.
I really appreciate it. I'm so sorry that I'm taking long.
That's okay. That's fine. So right. Okay. Let's get on with this, right? See, correction and judgment is different. Now, if you want to correct your husband, okay, remember man has this nice ego, not a bad ego, nice ego. If you want to correct your husband, start from the place of commendation.
True.
Every man loves to be praised. Hallelujah. I tell you true right now, okay? Every man loves to be appreciated. Every man loves to feel valued. Every man loves to be recognized. I mean, come on, guys, think about this. This man is king, right? This man is king. This man is a territorial security man, right? This man is trying to protect what belongs to him. The way to get into that man's head and that man's heart is to commend him, right? You want to correct something, you want to say something to him, commend the guy. Make the guy let him feel like the president of the whole world. Then when you start a correction, you already know he's president, but he has weakness. Then he will listen, right? But if you make him like he's not president, then you want to be president to correct, it's not going to work, okay? That's different. Commend and then correct. But correct in a nice tone. Correct with respect. Correct with understanding that this man wants to listen, but let him feel that, yes, I'm still king, even though I'm taking correction, if that makes sense. All right? Now, you're talking about what's the benefit? The benefit of vulnerability in relationship. Wow. Oh, wow. You know why I'm saying wow is because I am super enjoying that in my relationship. I'm super enjoying that in my marriage. Okay? All right. What did my wife said something? What did she say?
It's like King Chinda, CNN publicity awaits you.
Very funny woman. Okay. All right, thank you. Then you can correct me later, no problem. That's fine. Right. So what's the benefits of being vulnerable? you know what the benefit is I think I would say it's priceless. The benefit is uncalculatable. You can't put price to it. It's not taggable for anything. It will fuel incredible friendship. It will fuel incredible connection. Now, many couples are drifting apart. Many relationship is dry. Many relationship is unalive. Many relationship is not the way it should be, simply because many couples, many individuals are not enjoying an incredible vulnerability in their relationship. When you are vulnerable, it will improve your well-being, mental state, spiritual state, your health. It will improve a lot of stuff. Conflict will go down. Like, conflict resolution will be amazing. Conflict will go down. Joy, peace will rise, right? Because both of you are minding the same thing. You are in a place of oneness, okay? And the bedroom life will be fire. Hey. Oh my goodness me. Oh my goodness me. Bedroom life. If you are thinking all this 1 cent a week, 2 cents a week, you will have 7 a week, even 6 a week. I'm telling you. And some of you that you are struggling, lack of orgasm, lack of pleasure, lack of different position. You are joking. Come to vulnerability. You will see sexual position you've never seen ever in your life. You will see enjoyment you've never seen in your life. You'll be so intimate that everything you want to get, I call it a piece of heaven on earth. I've not been to heaven yet over there, but I'm telling you, on earth, you will experience incredible closeness, and your relationship will go from here to here. Vulnerability is probably the best gift that any relationship will foster.
Wow. Thank you so much. This has been amazing. In fact, okay, I think, so maybe Mr. Chinda will help us answer this question. How can someone, maybe not now, because I know you have to leave right away. So if you can give me the question, I'll just put it up in like a post. And then if you have questions, please send them to me. Maybe I will send them to him. He can answer them quickly. I'll just do it as a post, and then we'll post that later. But the question is, maybe you can just think about that and I will send that to you guys. How can someone who their partner has used their openness against them start rebuilding the process? Do you understand? So, but we'll look at that. Once you respond, I'll put it up as a post. I don't want to take
that's very important. But honestly, I'm so late. I'm supposed to be speaking somewhere now. They're already chasing me. So they can send more questions. Send me more questions. I'll be able to relate to that.
Or you can send it to my life management. He would answer them. Please check his.
And then the other thing I just want to say before I jump out is that, you put that thing on the chat box. I have a single mastermind group whereby, we do a lot of work on the singles to change, to transform you with a mindset. You put that there, just go and read about it. You can join us. It's an incredible. The couples mastermind is happening this week as well, that we're going to come back there. We're going to teach you about vulnerability. Oh my goodness, we're on another level that, than what you've even heard today. Go to my website, follow me, because what you've heard today is just a tip in the iceberg. There is more to come. And I want to say, Tope, you are incredible. You are amazing. You're wonderful. Guys, this is an amazing afternoon. I've enjoyed myself. And I hope, please, I have been able to provide some stuff. Please put in your comments, what have you learned? What are you taking home? And what are you going to do from here?
All right. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon. We'll wrap up here and have a very wonderful week as well, too. So I'll put a summary on my post. All right. Thank you, sir. All right.
Thank you.